Good morning, all delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be here and moderate this session, Q&A session. I would say that today is a new ecosystem for bioeconomy investment in Thailand. And today morning we have already heard from our stakeholder how nice or what Thailand have been preparing everything for foreign investor. I'm gonna to say not just only stakeholder. I would say that most of us are facilitator for foreign investor, and also not just only facilitate you, but ready to be partner with you too, either R&D or any business in bioeconomy. Now, we would like to discuss and get Q&A from delegates and all of you. But I would like to open the session by some questions first. Since BOI and EEC, I would say that they both are the gateway of investment in Thailand. I would like to let some question which may add you some information and also clarify something. First of all, I would like to address to BOI, Ms. Duangjai, that we just have heard from Tole, Mr. Matsuno, that they have some facilities and also some factory, even though it is just only pilot plan, but we can see that the bio-based factory may not have to locate it in EEC. I would like to ask, how about the privilege if foreign investor not just only invest and locate their factories, how about the privilege of BOI or investment that is the same as in EEC area, or can you explain or give more information?
Actually, I forgot to mention one thing. We are running a temporary scheme at the moment, the so-called investment stimulation scheme. That means we are giving. This scheme is targeted at accelerating investment in Thailand. So companies that manage to invest at least 1 billion baht of investment by the end of next year. And the targeted activities are quite, they cover a wide range of activities, altogether more than 100 BOI categories, including most bio-based industries. So if companies manage to put in at least 1 billion baht of investment by the end of next year, they would get, on top of the normal tax incentive package, they would get another 5 years of 50% reduction of corporate income tax. So let's say, for example, if a company would like to invest in, let's say, biofuel projects, biofuel projects would get 8 years tax holidays from the BOI. If the company manages to get to invest at least 1 billion baht by the end of next year, they would get 8 years 100% exemption plus 5 years of 50% reduction. And this measure is applied to applications submitted by the end of next year. Since we're already in November, you may wonder we have just 1 more month. Don't worry, we plan to extend the deadline.
Good
because
news.
we know that with the COVID situation, because this package came out at the beginning of the year and before COVID came along. So with the COVID situation, a lot of companies have delayed their investment decisions. So we would have to also extend the deadline for for application submission, but we intend to continue this scheme because we believe that there would be still quite a number of companies that are still interested in investing in Thailand. And Kun Pipat mentioned asked about the package compared to the EEC package. Actually, this package is even better than the package offered to the EEC, but the requirements are different. This package requires just investment. You know, we would like to have extensive investment, so we require at least 1 billion baht of investment by the end of this, next year. That means you have to invest a lot and fast. But the EEC package has nothing to do with the amount of money that you put in or how fast you can invest. We focus more on investing in or spending resources on human resource development, and that you would be located in industrial estates or industrial parks in the EEC. So the approaches are different, that's all. But this is the stimulation package is, I would say, good news for people who already have some investment plans, because they can benefit from this package, particularly for example, bioplastic, because the market is growing quite fast. So there's a lot more demand. And we are not just focusing on polymers. We also grant tax incentives to downstream industries, such as you do formulation. Yeah. So that's the kind of the incentives that we're giving. Sorry that I forgot to include that in my earlier presentation.
It's okay. Good news that wherever you invest in bioeconomy in Thailand, you will get the privilege from BOI or from Thai government as well. We intended not to mention any particular location, because particularly for bioeconomy, it can be in multiple locations in Thailand, because we grow things everywhere in Thailand. Yes, so it's kind of hard to designate a particular location for the bioeconomy. Yeah. Some products or some products should be close to the raw material as well, in order to reduce logistic costs and also transportation costs. In connection with this scheme, since bioeconomy might be located in everywhere in Thailand, how about EEC can facilitate, or do you have any logistic network or transportation network? Because in your presentation may not talk about this so much.
Yes, thank you. Well, I agree with Secretary General that bioeconomy or biotechnology investment can be in many places in Thailand, depending on the comparative advantage of each region in Thailand. But for the EEC area, I would say we focus on two particular things. First of all, because we are going to have the research and development and innovation infrastructure in the EEC area for biotechnology. So if investors would like to leverage upon that infrastructure available in the EEC area, then perhaps it's the EECi where they should be. And another angle of bioeconomy is actually I would say the use case of the biotechnology. For example, when I look at the presentation from Tore, you talk a lot about biomass and energy coming from biotechnology. And in the EEC, because we are emphasizing that we are going to be a circular economy, low carbon society, smart city with green theme in the EEC area. So the use case of biomass from clean energy in the EEC area is something we really emphasize. So any solution related to bioeconomy to be used in EEC smart cities, for example, is where you should consider. And then when we talk about logistic connectivity, so for logistic connectivity, EEC, I would say it's going to be an important gateway for export for Thailand, because we have Lam Chabang, which is the main industrial seaport in Thailand in the EEC area. And because of that, we are developing extensive multimodal transport connectivity connecting EEC to every part of Thailand. So eventually products to be exported comes to EEC as the gateway to the global markets. At the same time, from the EEC, we have road transportations, we have double track railway linking into Lam Chabang seaport. We have for people transportation, we have high-speed rail connecting Bangkok, which is the hub anyway, to the provinces in the EEC and to the new international airport. So we have, and not only that, we are working on the fiscal infrastructure to connect for goods transportation. We are also working on logistic management to increase efficiency. So the software side of logistics is being developed and being implemented and will be piloted in the EEC area, where the efficiency for handling of goods, the efficiency for import and export custom procedures will be immensely enhanced. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Luxmon. I think now I would like to get a question from the audience as well. Somebody, please identify, tell your name and identify your organization as well.
Hello, my name is Maitha Al, and I am working at the Stockholm Environment Institute, which is a research organization. So I've been very interested in hearing about the environmental and social goals of the bioeconomy. And I wonder if there needs to be any regulatory measures that need to put in place so that the bioeconomy can move forward according to the vision that you have proposed. So are there any environmental standards that need to be put in place in order to align with the new products that are coming out? Any sort of considerations on welfare that need to be considered for the smart farmer objectives? Anybody can answer the question. Thank you.
Dr. Janekrishna or Dr. Wonnop can give some information in this case.
Right. Well, I'll answer part of your questions. I think one thing that we are setting up in NASDA is the what we call I try to remember the name correctly in Thai. It is LCA. Life cycle assessment centers. This is have a large, vast database of products being developed in Thailand, and is accumulate the footprints starting from carbon footprint, but then eventually water footprint and other footprint as well. That is one of the basic infrastructure per se to support that. The environmental protections or environmental footprints in development of bioeconomy in Thailand.
Yeah. Actually, we do have, I don't know the full name, but greenhouse gas organization take responsibility for greenhouse gas as well.
Actually, in the EEC, we are working very closely with the Thai Greenhouse Gas Organization. We just had a meeting very recently, and we will work together to at least pilot some standards. We are going to do the benchmarking of all the EEC industries, and we will try to move into certain products in the EEC area, and then we will try to implement low carbon standards for industries and for smart cities in the EEC area going forward. And we believe that climate change is going to be an important theme going forward from now. And we are working on many angles to make sure that cities in the EEC, industrial parks, and also products moving forward have certain kind of standards that is comparable to international standards.
May I also add something? I would be talking from the angle of an agency that is incentivizing companies. We do take into account environmental standards. So what we do is that we are incentivizing companies to achieve something that is even better than the legal requirements. For example, companies, whether they have been BOI promoted or not, doesn't matter. If they can come back to us, if they decide to invest in additional equipment or invest in new systems to achieve better levels than the legal requirements. One basic requirement is that they have to already comply with the legal standards. Then they would be in, they would be eligible for applying for these incentives. If not, let's say, from time to time there was some projects that came to us and said they are below the legal standards and said they would improve themselves to comply with the legal standards. We said, no, you're supposed to comply already. We would only incentivize companies that do better than the legal standards. Secondly, as regards chemicals, we started to exclude some products that would be creating greenhouse gas or that would be detrimental to the environment. In the past, we never really took into account those that kind of concept, but we started doing that. So we identify, let's say, some chemicals that would be creating a lot of greenhouse gas, or we look at what would be prohibited under different international agreements or protocol, and we try not to incentivize the investments in those products.
Dr. Wonnop,
yes,
please.
may I add two more points on that? That might be related to the product safety, and also other points about the GMO standard. Because like in the biorefinery, so sometimes we have to use GMOs as the producer or converter. So that compliance is very important. So based on the setup facility, so it has to be compliant with the GMO. So it means that no release of the GMOs to the environment, those kind of things. Another point is about the, in this morning I mentioned that there are two parts. Biorefinery pilot plant, there's two parts. One is non-food and food GMP. Those two plants can, we can use GMO in those two plants. And another point is I heard that they're going to have regulatory sandbox for some reasons, for some product, because we can see that it's not quite easy that for the biotechnical product can be launched to the market somehow. There might be some obstacle, those kind of things. That might be something that we're going to facilitate the move of those products.
Let's say it depends on which kind of product we are going to produce, and there are many regulations already in place. Some organizations follow. And how about the small farmers? Because we imply that anybody can give some answer that how about the small farmers if we say that bioeconomy would be high value, and how about the effect to the small farmers?
Right. Okay. I perhaps answer some of the angle of that. When we develop EECi, the first thing we do is that we want to make sure that EECi would benefit the local people. So the first thing we do, we introduce smart farming technologies to the local orchard in the areas. So now we work with the durian orchard, and we introduce smart farming technologies with the AI and all that. But the important thing is not to push technology into the farming, into the farmers, but rather try to harmonize modern technologies and local wisdom together. So that one of the demo sites that we do there, it starts from only 1 or 2 rights of orchard, and now it's the farmer, the orchard owner now accept the technology and allow the technology to spread over their 50 rights of orchards. And that technologies help reduce the use of waters within the farming, within the orchard, and by far and large also reduce the use of labors, which, as you know, Thailand is entering the aging societies, and so we lack of workers, and the farmers are getting old. So all those kind of technologies help them with better quality of life. Okay.
Any question, please? Okay. While waiting, I would like to raise some question to Mr. Matsuno. Why Tole invest in Thailand and use biomass in Thailand? What is the reason you invest in, let's say, bioeconomy in Thailand?
Okay, so first of all, so there are many opportunities and strengths in Thailand. So because there are abundance of the agriculture product as well as agriculture waste. So that is a big opportunity for us. Because in Thailand, maybe Thai people is that is a natural or the general. But however, in the Japanese, that is a very rare to have a lot of resources. That is maybe worth to investment to start the business. So that is one thing. And another thing is, of course, there are a lot of kind of the governmental support from the BOI or EECi and also the NASDA. And so that is a big motivate to us to start our business or to start the launch the new kind of technology. And the third is we think that there are very strong value chain from the related to the bioeconomy from the agriculture industry to the food industry or feed industry. So that is also there is a big market. So that is another opportunity for us to start our project usage of the bagasse to produce a value-added product.
Concerning about the market, I would like to address to Dr. Suracha just a very short brief that how about the market or opportunity of bioeconomy in Thailand? You can talk about by products or just only in general the marketing in Thailand for Thailand, not
for Thailand. I think we very unique because we have a lot of different value chain, different industry that could be good use of the product from bio-based economy. For example, about the packaging. So we export a lot of food and we need a lot of packaging. So that's one of the area that with the whole thing going on about the plastic, it could be a good, Thailand would be a good position to tackle those. So I think the market by itself is good because we have a various value chain. And for example, for things related to medical healthcare, we have a very, not this year, but most of the time we have a very big medical tourism, which is a good platform for consuming new innovative product. So I think in terms of market, we have a very, to promote Thailand in Southeast Asia, we have a very diverse value chain, both, all things related, so automotive, electrical appliance, food, medical, healthcare, we have all those value chains. So it's very unique position.
How about the partnerships? You are welcome for any kind of business?
I think not just SCG, but I think Thailand, we very much welcome company or people from outside. And talking about SCG, as I mentioned in the presentation now, oldest joint venture is already 45 years. So for us, it's part of our DNA to work with partner, to work with the people from outside. In the past, maybe we used to work with the big company from outside, but I think the world has changed a lot, so maybe we're going to work more with the smaller company, technology company or startup company. On top of, we actually very good at working with the big company from the outside Thailand.
Just since you are in private sector, how about the personnel? Mr. Matsuno and also Dr. Suracha, because I would like to address later on to EECi and also Dr. Wonnop, since you are in government agency, how about the personal development? But I would like to ask demand side first. How about the personal in bioeconomy? What do you think? And how about your requirement in this particular area?
Requirement mean, of course, governmental support is very important for us. And also maybe human resource is very important because now we are collaborating with research institute such as biotech and also the university organization. So now we are collaborating with Chulalongkorn University and the Kasetsart University or Konkan University. And they show the very outstanding result as well as they have very great capability. So this kind of R&D resource or human resource is very important to establish the bioeconomy, I think. So Thailand is a very high level of the biotechnology. So that is one of the reasons to invest by Tore.
I think I can add another thing in terms of manpower. Since Thailand has very big base of industrial company, when we talk about making something, you need experienced technician, experienced engineer. I mean, even for the bioprocess, you still need mechanical engineer, you still need electrical engineer, you still need the experienced technician, which I think in Thailand we have a very deep pool of experienced people because petrochemical industry has been around 20 years, automotive is 30 years, so all this ecosystem already built up a lot of experienced engineer or technician that can operate and can run the plant, which is maybe bio-based. So I think for certain new skill set we may lack, but I think over time I think it would be overcome very easy.
May I also add, last year we have entered into an MOU with the so-called research university network in Thailand. And when companies come to us with an investment project, if we see that these projects would involve some kind of research or maybe they need some kind of specialist, we would send them to talk to the research university network, and the result came out to be quite successful, that some of the companies would originally they didn't think about working with universities or have some kind of collaboration, but after the discussions they found that actually Thai universities have quite a lot of capabilities that they are looking for and end up having some kind of joint research. So that's, but it's not a requirement by the BOI, but it's some kind of encouragement rather.
EEC, do you have additional information about this?
Yes, in the EEC area, we also work a lot on human resource development. We have the forum called the EEC HDC, who looks after upskill, reskill of workforce to make sure that the skill of our workforce meet with the demand from the private sector. So we have cooperation program where the private sector together with vocational education institutes, together with universities in the EEC area, design the curriculum together for the upskill, reskill of workers. Yes.
Now, coming back to NASDA, since you are organization who involved in this R&D and also some in education as well.
Right. Okay. I think there are a number of measures that we are taking to make sure that when we develop bioeconomy, bio-industry in Thailand, we would have enough personnel to support it. For example, in EECi cases, we work both short-term and long-term kind of programs. For short-term, we work with industry. They come to us and then talk to us that they want to upskill and reskill some of their workforce. So we partner them with EEC using the so-called EEC Type B programs that aiming at upskill, reskill per the need of the particular tailor-made need of the industries. We also working with many universities to create the engineering consortiums to make sure that we can train our new generation of engineers who knows how to set up biorefinery pilot plants. Biorefinery factories, based on our unique opportunity in that the government put in place the investment for biorefinery pilot plant at EECi. We also have we also work with a number of research universities in a joint supervision programs called in that scheme we send out NASDA researchers to act as the lead or co-supervisors in the master and PhD programs to create the industrial research personnel to supporting new industry that we are coming up in Thailand. A majority of that are bio-related industries. On the long-term side, we also the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, we also send out government scholars abroad to study in a number of advanced areas. A majority of that are in bioeconomy related disciplines. Okay, perhaps Dr. Wonnop like to add some of that.
We're still waiting for questions from the audience as well. Dr. Wonnop, please.
Yeah. So I would like to answer to those questions. So like human resources, I would think in short term and long term. For short term, because the biorefinery is going to, operate in next 2 years, maybe. So I would say that we shortage of some of the personnel in bioprocess engineering. So, and we have in terms of researcher and even in research center or university, I think basically they are very good researcher. They are very good in basic science research. But somehow, even in biotech, we have not so many people that, can have the experience to work with the private company. So that, then I think very important that how can we change the mindset of our researcher or academia university to work and to support the private sector. So that's one thing. So in short term, I think we have to learn from our collaborator. So that's the way we work. And also we have to consolidate our expertise in country so that you can see from my presentation that I mentioned a little bit on HRD platform that we have. So like Dr. Jenkit mentioned that we have like a consortium with university, bioengineering consortium, those kind of things. There's several schemes that we doing that. For long term, as he mentioned that we have the scholarship that we have to build our own resource. But that's going to be 5 or 6 years from now. When they get the scholarship, go back for work, it still take long time. Okay.
Please.
Hi, my name is Kent Goking, and I'm an independent biotech consultant here in Thailand. Been here over 10 years, and originally from the United States. And the biotech industry in the United States is heavily driven by the academic community, which produces a lot of startups. Where are the startups in Thailand that are coming out of the academic universities? And one of the major problems is the technology transfer offices are pretty weak or non-existent in these universities. And also intellectual property legislation. I know that there's a movement to pass something like the Bayh-Dole Act that would transfer intellectual property ownership to the universities. This is key, I think, in terms of motivating the universities to actually take their technologies out of the university into the commercial marketplace, either as a startup or to work with the large industrial companies. Just want to comment if any of you have any sort of insight into if that can happen, if we can really try to rejuvenate and start a startup culture here that would feed the bioeconomy.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good question and comments. I think not just only us on the stage, but we can open discussion in this issue as well. Now,
I think I can add on this grooming and growing the tech startup in Thailand. So ACG, we have been doing a kind of incubation program for 3 years. We call Sprint, that we work with the Sasin Business School, Chulalongkorn University. So what we try to bring is set up a program that scientists, they can have some business people to give them some guidance or formulate the thinking. So I think that from my experience, we have a lot of good people, smart people, and I think it's just have to build an ecosystem and how to bridge between the academic and the business people, which unfortunately in terms of bio-based things, we don't have a deep bench of experienced business people to advise them. But in terms of general business concept, we can provide. And I think in terms of IP, yes, I think it's getting better because of this new law that the IP will be transferred to the university. And one of the part that we explain to the scientists is you do startup technology is all about IP. So actually, if you think your thing is breakthrough, it's more than just the IP in Thailand. It means that it has to be international. It has to be able to protect your intellectual property. So this is the thing that. So I think the NASDA, they're also doing this incubation platform. So there's place that you can tap and you can see the startup.
Any addition?
Yeah.
Please.
If I may add onto that comments, I think when we talk about startups, we talk about ecosystem to support startups, not just only one particular components. In the case of bioeconomies, I think there are a number of things that we need to address. Normally, when business can thrive or when startup can you create startups, you need market, you need close to important raw materials, you need investors, you need infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Okay, for Thailand, in bioeconomy, I think we have we have a names for when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to food, it becomes to green biotechnology and things like that, and also in medical. So in a way, we perhaps startup that start in Thailand to have a product in Thailand, perhaps they can have easier time enter the market because the brand is there. But importantly, we also have important raw materials. Say, for example, if you want to convert something from sugar, we have abundant sugar resource. And with the investment of the government in biorefineries, so the startup that want to put out a new products could have easier time to access to advanced infrastructures. We also have a numbers of government and private corporate venture capitals that are popping up across the countries, and those some of those are looking forward into invest into deep tech startups. And when we talk about startup in Thailand, we didn't really mean only Thai people who set up the startups. It could mean startup originate from abroad and localize technology here and grow their technology, grow their company here using the ecosystem in Thailand. So we're really looking forward to see more deep tech startup, especially in bioeconomies in the countries.
Ms. Duangjai, please.
I'd like to add a little bit from our own experience. Recently, we have been approving projects, very interesting projects in terms of technology, particularly in biotechnology. And these companies are startups or spin-offs from universities. But we noticed that they often in the sectors or in products that already have the sizable market. For example, we have a number of projects doing test kits for COVID, using the research results that they have. And also, I think some universities are quite active in transforming themselves into some kind of innovation hub, and particularly working with foreign counterparts. Recently, we have been approached to, because since we're administering a smart visa scheme, and the smart visa scheme only targets at bringing technologies and talents in the targeted industries, the 12 targeted industries. But actually, to groom startups, you probably need something more than that. So we will be proposing that we will cover additional segments such as technology management. It's not really about hard science, but it's about management expertise. And technology management is not part of the 12 targeted industries. But without it, it would be very difficult to make the technologies or any research findings here fly. So we are going to propose to the cabinet to include or to change, to revise the system in order to be able to groom or to create the right ecosystem for innovation. So that's one thing, but I'm pretty sure that there would be a lot of things that we can do in order to improve the ecosystem, because I think naturally Thailand has a lot of comparative advantages. We just need to create more competitive advantages, and particularly the right ecosystem.
Before finishing this session, I would like to, every speaker will give some comment or some speech, everybody here, to the audience. But before that, any comment and suggestion still are welcome. And also, I would like you to have many comments and suggestions in order to make economy in Thailand success. Not just really from us, but more from you, please. I think the question from May Ong about the farmers, small farmers. I would like to give you some sample for the farmers, like especially in cane growers in Thailand, and environmental issue as well. Ministry of Industry has announced to have a policy in burn cane, to reduce burn cane. Last year is around 50% of total cane production, but this year is going to be only 20%. What does it mean? It means that harvesting costs will be higher because harvesting fresh cane is more difficult and also a little bit more expensive than burnt cane. And if cane growers harvest burnt cane, they will get less cane price, around 30 baht, like will be deducted 30 baht. And this 30 baht per ton of cane will be paid to the farmers who harvest fresh cane. Just give a privilege and make it happen for harvesting fresh cane, something like that. That is a policy from Ministry of Industry. You see that every government agency or organization try to respond to the environmental issue. And for now, they are improving Thai Sugar Act for the giving more incentive if some products used for higher value. For example, not just only for sugar, if they use molasses to produce ethanol, they might add up there will be like some mechanism to add some price up. It means that sugarcane will not be produced just only for sugar, but also for other products. They try to find out some mechanism which is make the small farmers getting a higher price. That now that is in process, and the others crop try to modify Thai Sugar Act to the pricing mechanism as well. Any comments and suggestions from you all? Otherwise, please, could you give 1 minute or whatever you want to tell and invite the audience and others, foreign investor.
Okay, I try to limit to 1 minute.
Whatever.
It is hard because as an investment promoter, I can keep on talking. I think it is clear that Thailand has a lot of opportunities in the bio-based industry, in the bioeconomy. And we are definitely improving our ecosystem in order to make those investment opportunities easily realized. And if any of you in the audience are interested in investing in Thailand in the bio-based industries, you are very much welcome to contact us at the BOI. We are not working alone. We work with other agencies, with the EECi, with NASDA, with everyone, because we work as a team, and in order to create the right environment for potential investors. And our policies at the moment, we focus very much on bio-based industries. We try to identify categories that will be entitled to attractive tax incentives. We try to catch up with the new technologies. I took a lot of photos from Torre's presentation today because we try to keep up with the latest technology so that we can incentivize the right investments that would really lead us to the bioeconomy. So you're very much welcome to contact the BOI either here or we have overseas offices as well. You're welcome to contact us as well.
Thank you very much. Dr. Luxmon, please.
So BOI is the gateway to investment in Thailand. And if you think about Thailand, there are many places, of course, but for the Eastern Economic Corridor in particular, as I mentioned earlier, because of the strategic transport connectivity, because of the ecosystem of certain industries that we already have in the area, and because of the research, development, and innovation infrastructure that we have in the area, certain industries related to bioeconomy might want to consider being in the EEC. And one thing that I did not mention earlier is the regulatory sandbox feature of the EEC law, which means that within the EEC area, we are able to work with companies, with investors, research institutes to pilot or to make certain changes to rules and regulation to encourage investment in technologies that we would like for Thailand. So that is the regulatory sandbox feature that we can work with you. And the last but not least is that because the overall theme of the EEC area development, not just industrial development, is the circular economy. So we also would like to work with institutes to make sure that the whole development of EEC is green, is circular. Thank you.
Dr. Jen.
Right, I'll keep it short. Okay, so our job, the EECi job, is to link research and investment in bioeconomies across Thailand, and we work closely with BOI and the EEC office as a Thailand team. And so I like to encourage you to come talk to us, any of us here, okay, and explore the potential partnership together in your bioeconomy journeys. Thank you.
Just a few minutes. You have also facility science park in every region, right?
Right.
Just,
Okay.
could you give?
In fact, in Thailand we have a quite comprehensive science park ecosystems. For the first one is the Thailand Science Park in Rangsit areas, and then we also have a network of regional science park, one in the north, one in the northeast, actually two in the northeast and one in the south. And the EECi is an add-on to those comprehensive systems. All of these parks are run by the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovations. So any of these connecting point you can enter, and we will connect you to the right person. Thank you.
Privilege from BOI.
And if you're located in those science parks, you would get additional tax holidays, additional tax incentives from us as well.
That is real promotion from Thailand. Dr. Wonnop.
Yeah, so I think I would like to encourage our friend in research center or university, and also the new generation. That for me, I think we're waiting for about 20 years that to have like big facility as Biopolis. So this is a good opportunity for biotechnology and also biobusiness. Not only for the business side, I think for the researcher side also, that this is we are waiting for something that never happened in 20 years. Okay, and why we have to use this opportunity to make it, to maximize this opportunity to, for the benefit of yourself or to the mankind.
Okay. Let's prove by private sector, the last two. How attractive Thailand is.
I think for SEG, the future is very clear that BCG economies will be the future, and by being the biggest industrial conglomerate in Thailand, we hopefully that we can contribute and being the catalyst, the part of people or company that could bring this vision to Thailand. So we have high hope in this BCG economy.
Mr. Matsuno, please.
Okay, so as you understand, to establish or to realize the bioeconomy with real business. So real business is important. So we need to collaborate beyond of the industry and beyond of the organization or government sector. So that's why maybe we appreciate to collaborate with these organizations, not only these organizations, maybe audience is maybe related to the bioindustries. So that's why, so let's make a bioeconomy with a reality.
Now, you know already how Thailand is preparing facilities for all of investment around the world, not just only in ASEAN. And collaboration is there, facilitate is there, utilities and everything we try to prepare for all of investment. Thank you very much for all of speakers and all of delegates here. Thank you very much.